decisions. And since then, we have been working extremely closely with all other law enforcement agencies, and also with our partners here at DDOT, including DPW, through their through different programs to make sure that every camera that we are installing, it's not just a reactive, but rather reactive and proactive decisions. So we have developed an extremely robust site selections process and methodology. And I would love to, I don't know how much time I have, I want to actually share our newly launched hub site, our website, where we talk about all these informations in detail. And for the sake of transparency, we have pretty much made all our data available for everybody, including our residents and those who are interested in learning about the automated traffic enforcement program.
Yeah, that'd be great. Maybe you can show the dashboard, and then we can dig into some of the questions.
Absolutely. And I think I reviewed all the question, Karthik, and if I don't answer any question directly, please feel free to ask me those questions. But I think most of those questions will be answered through this presentations. And if not, then of course we can tackle each questions individually as well.
Sounds great.
You guys see my screen?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, this is our own page. This is our own page of automated traffic enforcement system. And here you can find a very interactive mapping system where all the active cameras are located, and they are producing informations and reporting real time. And of course, we have 546 active camera system operating here in the District of Columbia. We have 213 speed cameras. We have 33 stop sign cameras. We have 10 no true truck cameras, or we call it oversized camera systems. And 25 buses are equipped with stop arm safety camera systems. And all our camera systems are actually actively, they can be monitored here on our interactive map. For example, if I click in one of the speed cameras here, you can see when that speed camera was installed and how long that speed camera has been operational, when and how it's doing. It's pretty much kind of like gives you a very detailed information about the camera's activities and if the camera is having any impact. This one particularly specifically the 2600 block of Lincoln Road Northeast northbound. As you can all tell, that when the camera first went in, it started to kind of like issuing the violation events. I mean, like at a low level, and then it spiked, and then now we are seeing a very steady decline in our volume, which is good news for us. We look at this, and our TSI teams and multi-model safety and engineering teams look at this and analyze it and let us know whether we should stay in that one location or we should be moved to a new locations. Because as you all know, we don't have a lot of cameras. We have a very limited number of cameras available in our inventory, and we are trying to cover as many vulnerable locations as possible. So we are constantly rotating and moving cameras from one location to another. So the average number of months that a camera must stay in one location is 12 to 18 months, so that we can gather enough data to allow our engineers decide whether the camera is making any differences or whether there are additional road diet is needed or additional engineering or design needs to be considered for that location. So they are constantly reviewing and analyzing data that is coming from automated traffic enforcement camera systems. And in our dashboard, you can see our selection methodology. Since we have moved from Metropolitan Police Department to District Department of Transportations, the selection methodology has been completely moved out of automated safety camera systems divisions. And now our multi-model safety and engineering teams are responsible for identifying the location, surveying the locations, gathering information pre-camera deployments, and passing down and recommending that location for automated traffic safety cameras. And then we do our analysis and our site visibility surveys based on our criteria. And once we deem it suitable or not suitable, we pass it down to our vendors, and then they decide whether a camera is suitable there at that location or not. So it's an extremely robust and extremely detail-oriented process, and which takes from 1 to 75 days until a camera actually goes into that place. So it's no longer an ad hoc decision. Somebody gets a phone call, somebody puts a camera there, and we would be just kind of like there serving like special interests rather than actually safety. So all our cameras, majority of our camera systems since 2023 that we have installed are in our eye injury networks. So all those locations are predetermined by Department of Transportations and are serving the purpose of the eye injury networks and the safety. And you can go for more details, how you can request a camera, how you can put a camera request through our 311 process, and how the TSI will be reviewing those requests and recommending it for automated safety cameras. On our clear lane, we started this program in July of 2023. It's been going really well, and we are seeing the difference that we are making in the efficiency of the buses and taking passengers from point A to point B, and making sure that no illegal parking or illegal driving in the bus lane or in the bus zone impedes in serving our residents who use the public transportation systems. We have been adding additional buses. This fiscal year, we added additional 70 buses to our portfolio. Now we have 120 buses equipped with automated traffic camera systems, and we are piloting additional programs which hopefully will be funded and approved so that we can capture more of these violations at the CARP site through our clear lane camera systems. And our Stop Arm Safety program, which is one of an extremely critical program that we have, and it is doing very well. We are encouraging a lot of the drivers to please stop when you approach a bus, a school bus. And especially when that school bus's stop arm is extended, that's when the camera system is activated and the violations are captured. And this program is constantly under review. Hopefully, we will be expanding it as soon as we receive additional data this year to analyze and do a comprehensive studies whether we are making any impact or is there a problem. And if there is a problem, and if automated safety camera systems are addressing the problem. And again, there's a lot of information that I do not want to, just for the sake of the best interest of the time, I do not want to kind of go into detail, but please visit our website, give us the feedback that you may have. And if there's any additional information that you need from us, we will be providing it. And reports, and something that actually we are extremely proud of, because since I started in the program, getting information about automated safety camera systems was extremely hard. And it had to happen through FOIAs, it had to happen through a lot of inquiries, jumping through a lot of loops. And our residents rightfully were concerned that what are we doing and how we are conducting business. And since we moved from Metropolitan Police Department to District Department of Transportation, one of the decision was that we need to make sure that we are the most transparent program, not only in the district, but in the nation. And as a result, we made everything public. And for the first time, we actually took full custody of all our data from our vendors, and our IT department did an incredible job to create a space for us in the universe, in the cloud system. And now we are storing all that information, and not only storing it, but making it available for our partners in the District Department of Transportation, for engineers, for analysts, for everybody who is interested in the transportation and making our streets and roads safe. and if they can see use for it, it is available and there for them to use it. And here is, for example, violation by camera type. We are telling everybody that, how these cameras are performing and what kind of violations we are capturing. As you can see here, all 6 types of enforcements, it's depicted there by fiscal years. We can choose on fiscal year 2024, fiscal year 2025, how the cameras are performing and where these violations are coming from. Because one thing that's was always concerned that the volume, and we want to make sure that, the volumes are accurately attributed to all types of enforcement and where the concerns are, whether it's speeding in the district, whether it's a stop sign violations, whether other types of violations, so that those who are making who are planning and designing and making decisions on the next move, especially our Vision Zero department, they have all this information at their disposals. And violation data here, we pretty much kind of like dissect it. We break it down to people that, the top 10 cameras that are issuing violations. We designed these reports based on the request of the public, based on the all the FOIAs and IQs that we were receiving. We were like, how can we make sure that only those who are requesting this information have access to it, but rather everybody who are living and interested in automated traffic enforcement, they can go to our hub site and get these access these informations. And you can see violation top, the violation by type of the violations, and one-time violation, which is actually violators. It's extremely important for us because when we see that 59 to 60% of our violators are one-time violators, that means our programs are constantly sending that message. And people who are the regular commuters, once they get their first ticket or their warning citations prior to actual violation with fine amount attached to it, they modify their behaviors, they respect and obey our traffic rules and regulations, and they are not the regular violators. Having said that, we can also see the tickets by plate and state. We dissect it by who is the top violator. God bless our Maryland drivers. They are the highest violators. They are 41% of our violators. The next one is Virginia, 27% of violators, and other states are 13%. And DC is a very unique city. We are receiving millions of visitors from all across the country, and they are, of course, whether aware or unaware of our strict traffic rules and regulations, they are also contributing towards this high number. And DC is only 18% of this fiscal year, which is something that we want to kind of echo and emphasize, in that what we are doing is we are trying to protect our city and our residents from a lot of our regional visitors and from across the nations, that when they come in, they should be aware and know where our cameras are, and they should slow down and respect our posted speed limits. And here is the extreme speed. This is extremely concerning to us. As you can see, we are capturing license plate, a repeated offender, we call them, with egregious speeds, like 141 mile per hour. Like in a 35 mile per hour street, under 22 mile per hour in a 25 mile per hour. And what we have done with this information, we are working through the task force that the mayor's office had created, and we did a very in-depth analysis of like, how can we address these issues? How can we address the repeated offender issue? How can we address the extreme speeders? And since then, since April, the task force has been fully in action. We provide all this information to our DPW and Metropolitan Police Department partners, and they have picked up, like impounded, over 100 vehicles with lots of citation on them and the extreme speeders. Unfortunately, some of them had already been reported to be totaled and they were involved in a crash, but a number of them that were part of this list are no longer driving on our streets. They have been impounded And we are constantly, on a weekly basis, we communicate with our law enforcement agencies these numbers. And if they have any information that they provide us or require from us, we make sure that we give them in a timely manner so that they can act on it. So we want to kind of like take a lot of preventative measure through our data, as well as proactive measures, as well as our reactive measures. And of course, we are constantly monitoring any new locations that come up in our radars. We review that, and if it is part of our eye injury network, we immediately rotate a camera to that locations. If not, then we take that into considerations for our future rotations. And here is another slide that I want to emphasize on. This is passing data versus actual violations. And this is extremely important for us, because if you look at the passing data, all our camera systems, they are constantly recording all the passing data of the vehicles that are passing our systems. And we are below 1% of issuance. So a lot of the time, when a lot of the naysayers to our program complain about like why we know we are issuing a lot of citations, this is a big problem, we are issuing less than 1% of total passing vehicles. We are issuing citation to less than 1%, and that is very good. We want to kind of like continue to this number to drop. Hopefully, one day we will reach that number, that zero that we are all striving towards. And that would be a dream come true for me, and my mission will be accomplished. But we are fighting towards that, and we see a drastic drop in that number, which is very refreshing. And again, I mean, like we have an interactive map that, it shows where all the violations occur and how the violations are occurring. And again, you can all go and access this, and I will drop this in the chat, the link, and we'll be more than happy to discuss any specific questions as well. So in addition to this, you guys see, this is our reports to the council. And our report to the council is extremely detailed as well. And that is, for example, summary by month, top 15 locations, summary by automated safety cameras locations, summary by jurisdictions. It's again almost in the same format, but we have kind of like made sure that we are also keeping our council abreast of like all the progresses, all the information that we are capturing. We are no longer kind of waiting for them to ask us a lot of questions, but instead we are constantly producing and allowing them to review all the information coming from automated traffic enforcement, and how that information and how that data is used by our counterparts, which is extremely important. And we have information for everyone. And also another thing that it's very important, we have to mention it, that we share all this information with the private sectors too. And the private sector has the ability to actually tap into this information and allow people to know when they are using their GPS systems, when they're using their customized tracking GPS system, so that where to go and where not to go, where to park and where not to park, and how to kind of not receive a ticket. Our goal is not to give people a ticket. Our goal is to make sure that we inform the residents, the visitors, the commuters as much as possible to avoid our restricted routes if they're big trucks, because DC's houses, especially certain neighborhoods, the houses are extremely historic. And once these massive construction trucks are rolling by, our residents have complained that their entire house shakes. We want to make sure that they're not disturbed. The kids are safe in those routes. And stop signs, we always emphasize that please come to a complete stop. I mean, like, it's not like California rule and New Jersey rule. When you come to the CN stop sign, come to a complete stop. Make sure that all your four wheels are not motionless, and then proceed. And our red light, that is something that we are taking very serious, because we are also studying the near misses, right? And if there isn't a crash and a fatal accident, and if you run that red light and you missed it, that is a big concern for us. We want to make sure that you understand the severity of your action, and hopefully they would not repeat that. And that's extremely important for us. Please do not run the red lights and all other types of our enforcement. So, Karthik, I think this is a good spot for me to stop. And if there's any specific question for me, I'll be more than happy to entertain.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. This is kind of fantastically, and there's, I've seen this evolve, and the level of transparency is fantastic. And I first of all want to commend you on putting all of this data together in such a easier to understand and comprehensive way. So I have questions, but I first want to open it up to the other council members. Kelly, Sharon, and Sal, please start with your questions, and then I'll go after you guys. Go for it, Kelly.
Hi there. Thank you so much, Syed. Really appreciate your time and detail here. I was actually, one of my first questions is, can you drop those links we should look at in the chat? I'd love to take a deeper look at that great information you provided. I wondered, because I saw it today, what can be done about cars that do not have plates? I saw one today on Connecticut Avenue, and I was like, oh, they're trying to avoid the cameras. And what can be done, what is being done about that?
An excellent question. Unfortunately, with ghost tags and fake tags, it is a nationwide problem, and we are very well aware of it, thankfully. And law enforcement agencies and other agencies responsible for monitoring that are actively working. So I would not advise anybody driving around District of Columbia with either fake tag or ghost tag or no tag. Because as I mentioned before, the task force that was created by the mayor's office, they are in full force, and we are feeding them all available informations that we are capturing through our automated safety camera systems. And we have successfully impounded and we call it picked up over 100 vehicles. And those 100 vehicles, I mean, like, some of them are Maryland tags, majority are Maryland tags. And DC it's very easy to recognize fake tags because DC barely issues a temp tag. And all our tags are the solid original tags, and we do not extend temp tags for more than that 30 days period that they have, because our DMV has worked extremely hard to make sure that we avoid extending any temp tags, because temp tags, it's paper, people lose it or it gets stolen. And another thing that we are dealing with, stolen tags too. So the good thing is that we have, through the STEER Act that the council passed, and we are very well aware of that, and we are working pretty much having a meeting at least like twice a week with our counterparts at the DMV, at the DPW, at the MPD, at the DDOT, how to make sure that we are very careful and aware of all those stolen tags and quickly identify them. And if it comes through our camera system, if it goes through Metropolitan Police Department's LPR, the license plate readers program, we can recover it and immediately notify all parties involved so that those tags are not misused for other purposes. So great question again. Yes, we are aware of it, and we are trying our best to work with our regional partners. They are a little slow, but they are also, we're very well aware of their problem, because we do not want any vehicle coming to our city without proper papers and registrations and valid tag.
Great, thank you. Sal or Sharon, if you've got a question, now's a great time to ask. If not,
no, I'm more
okay.
so digesting the
information.
Thank you.
Sorry, one more time.
Oh, I'm more in a digest mode for the information
okay.
we'll receive, so no questions from me at this time.
Okay, great.
I have
okay.
one more question. If before, so maybe this is not for here, but I'm wondering what the strategy is behind back-to-back cameras. cameras that are on the same kind of stretch of road, but maybe separated by a block or two, because of the you explained the shortages of cameras or the limited number. What the strategy is around that, just so I can better understand why not spread them out more.
Absolutely. I'm sure my colleague Lakeisha will touch on the equity aspect of our camera systems. And we were at the leadership level and at the mayor's office, we are very keen and we are very aware of our equity and making sure that we are not oversaturating certain wards or certain zip codes with all our automated safety camera system. That was something that we learned when we came from Metropolitan Police Department to District Department of Transportations, because we engaged almost everybody when we were placing our camera systems around the District of Columbia. Currently, we are serving less than 5% of the District of Columbia, giving our limited resources. And hopefully one day we will expand the program to every corner, but that is a very different level of conversation to have. And the reason for why we are installing these cameras, not back to back, we are very cognizant that, we should not be able to see one camera, another camera from the camera A. Basically, from camera A, we should not be able to see camera B. So there is a very good distance. However, the cameras that you can probably see, which is considered back to back, is like it is different bounds. For example, on Connecticut Avenue, I live on Connecticut Avenue, and we have multiple cameras, and they are southbound and northbound. So, and that is based on the eye injury networks and the multi-model safety and engineering team's recommendation, because Connecticut Avenue for a very long time, it was unfortunately used as a racing kind of avenue. And vehicles were driving at 100 miles per hour, and we had some tragic accidents and near misses, and especially like near the zoo areas and near DuPont circles, and like people coming to DC, like through Bethesda, and leaving DC, they were trying to just rush out, right? And those cameras are serving their purpose. Actually, we have moved a couple of them because we saw a very sharp decline as a result of our additional decisions that our multi-model and safety and engineering teams made, and went to newly identified locations. But that the purpose is to capture both directions and to address both directions, because people are very smart. I mean, the violators, once they recognize that, oh, I'm going to go southbound, there's no camera, I'm going to go at 80 miles per hour. But when I go northbound, there are like 3 cameras. I'm going to go at my posted speed limit, 25 to 30 miles per hour. So the purpose is to kind of make sure that they are not kind of like their Waze or Google Map or Apple notify them that there's a camera, slow down. And then once they pass that camera, they can speed. So we are trying to kind of like encourage people that, look, no, don't speed. We are going to cut you. If you're going to speed at 3400 block of Connecticut, we're going to cut you. And if you're going to speed at 1800 block of Connecticut, we're going to cut you. And if you go down the road, you're going to hit multiple camera systems. And that has in a way been effective, because they kind of, unfortunately, like, when you receive multiple, you don't have that excuse that, oh, I accidentally pressed the gas. So no, you run their camera throughout Connecticut Avenue. So because when we go to our DMVs, our adjudication services, they hear all types of reasons and arguments, including sometimes, people are like, hey, I was running to pick up somebody, right? I was late for my whatever reason, right? My appointments or something. But if you drove throughout Connecticut Avenue and you hit all the camera system, that means that, you need to slow down. So that's the purpose of it.
Great. So maybe I'll jump in here. So I mean, I think I have the opposite criticism. I mean, this is a great start, but for me, the logic goes, people are getting hundreds of people over the past 10 years have been killed, and thousands of people, actually tens of thousands of people, have been injured by drivers in the district engaging in extremely reckless and criminal behavior. Speeding is not just speeding will kill children. Speeding will kill people with disabilities and destroy lives. We know that this happens. We know this happens every day, all over the place, hundreds of thousands of times a day in the district. I don't think that's an exaggeration, because we're just capturing a small 0.5% of this. And we know that this is an extremely powerful intervention to reduce crashes and reduce speeding, which is, I think, 50% involved in 50% of speed. Speed is a factor in 50% of crashes. And red light running also is a major factor. Why isn't this more widespread? Why don't we have, especially on our high injury network, why isn't there a red light camera on every intersection and on every light in the high injury network?
That's an excellent question. It's, I mean, like everything that you stated, I mean, like I've lived in District of Columbia since 2010. And actually, in 2023, my kids, my family, they were walking on Wyoming Street in California and Wyoming, and they got hit by somebody who came to a complete stop. Asked my wife to, okay, move on. I'm waiting for you with the stroller. As she entered the intersection, he just ran them over. And unfortunately, we do not have a stop sign camera at that locations, and not because those locations don't deserve the stop signs, but we don't have the asset is not there, right? We don't have enough in our inventory, and we have made an argument, and as a result, the mayor's office actually listened to our reasons, and they were very kind to expand our budget. And once we moved from metropolitan, imagine we were in 127 camera. We were stuck with 127 camera, one of the top automated traffic safety program in the nation, but we were capped with that number of cameras. And of course, without going into the details of like what was the reason behind not expanding the program, because there's a lot of pushes and pulls, and there are as many friends that we have, and we call them the silent majority, that hopefully through these videos we will address those problems and have you all to talk on behalf of these programs and the effectiveness of this program. But we do have the other side also who argues that, you know, this is just to generate money, generate revenue. This is a cash cow. They are labeling us pretty much whenever they have nothing else to talk about, they talk negative about automated traffic safety program. I think that it is probably one of the most equitable program because it's colorblind. I mean, like we put them, I mean, like the violation events in Alabama Avenue and Connecticut Avenue Northwest and Alabama Southeast, I mean, like they are like, they don't know who is driving those cars, right? They are capturing speed. They are capturing people running the stop sign, red lights. It's all types of enforcement, correct? And we expanded the program. Right now that we have like over 500 cameras in the district and constantly expanding. And we are given, we are very lucky. We are very privileged as a result of the great leadership here at the District of Columbia and absolute amazing advocacy groups like you guys. We have been allowed to pilot a lot of other types of enforcement, including bringing in the latest and the newest technology, so that, you know, we can provide the leadership, the political leadership, and our executive team the decision that we have all the technologies, we have all the potential solution. This is one of the tool in the toolbox that we are talking about. And if this is something that is actually, it is modified driving behaviors on Connecticut Avenue, on Alabama Avenue, on Benning Road, on Bladensburg, on H Street, let's expand it. If we have seen 0 fatal accident in 33 location of our stop sign cameras, why not make this in every single stop sign? Right?
Yeah.
I mean, like This is our talking point in our program, that we didn't give you a citation. You give yourself a citation. And if you are driving at 140 mile per hour at the 35 mile per hour roadways, you're not only endangering yourself, you're endangering the person that you're transporting. You are pretty much putting everybody else who you're sharing the road with at a grave risk. And to talk about that incident that occurred back in 2023 with the stop sign running and hitting my wife and the children's in their stroller, and that was it went unreported.
Yep.
Until I arrived and Secret Service reported, because it happened right in front of the Chinese ambassador's residence. And then we asked the Metropolitan Police Department that, this needs to be reported. And the argument, for example, was that, there's no injury, nobody required ambulance or something, this should not be considered. And still, we are using that stroller. It's pretty damaged, right? We just got lucky. We are incredibly lucky and thankful that no serious injury occurred as a result of that accident. But I always talk about the incident on Georgia Avenue, Jessica Hart, and that truly, honestly, I talk about it. It brings goosebumps. They lost that beautiful girl,
Allie. I know Jessica, and I've talked to her quite a bit. Yeah,
absolutely. And honestly, right now I'm talking about it. It's so hard. I don't want anybody's kids to become a statistic. And that was a location that we should have been there. We went there, but it was too late. And if our camera system, and at that time Director Lott immediately asked us, let's make sure that we prioritize all vulnerable locations. And now under Director Sharon, we are pretty much doubling on those locations and constantly working with our counterparts, including law enforcement, to if you guys are seeing a potential location that is you guys are issuing a lot of citation, let us know. We can put a camera there, because who knows, we may have stopped or slowed down that vehicle that hit that beautiful little girl on her bike. She just wanted to be out there and enjoy the day and bike. She didn't deserve to. And that's as a result of a stop sign. I always say that if you roll through a stop sign in your permit test, or during when driver licenses, you would never pass. Why would you completely disregard a stop sign? It's there. It is extremely important. Come to a complete stop. Come to complete stop for a few seconds, and then proceed. And you're not gonna get anywhere faster if you come to a complete stop for less than 2-3 seconds. And I agree with you, Karthik, and I hope we have your team and everybody in this group's support as we are piloting additional program, and we are looking forward to hopefully expanding the program. But at the same time, I want to tell you one thing, Karthik, why we are so transparent and why we are so serious about the accuracy and of the program. We want to make sure that we present a case.
Yeah.
In the past, unfortunately, a lot of automated traffic enforcement, they don't have a good legacy around the nation, because they are lacking transparency and they are not unable to justify their existence. But what we are trying to do through sharing our data, making our data available, allowing people to actually come to us directly, we are going to the neighborhoods, to the communities, and not trying to brag about these high volumes. Because for me, if I'm issuing a lot of the tickets, that means we have a problem.
Yeah, 100%.
We have a problem. We have a problem. So hopefully we will expand it as we are reviewing all the locations, doing a before and after studies. Nobody in the nation has done that. Nobody has dared to do that. And now the District Department of Transportation has decided that we are going to do a very robust before and after studies. And we have made it available to a third party. So it shouldn't be biased. How are we doing? Hopefully that study at the end of fiscal year 2026 will come out and make a serious recommendation that we need to expand this and this program, and let's save lives.
So this is, so we've, in the past we've gotten answer. I've asked this question to different people, and in the past we've gotten answers like, oh, it costs a lot. It can cost upwards of $100,000 for a camera. But like in my mind, like, okay, so for two things. One, do we think that like one life is worth less than $100,000? And two, but even more specifically, like this is why we asked about net revenue. Like it is my understanding, and I'd be willing to bet that this is right, and it would be great to verify this, is that if you take the average net revenue of a camera, it is greater than zero. So as in, like, you take the cost of operation, installation of a procurement and operation of that camera, load it all the costs, and look at the revenue that it's generating, it's positive. So like, net to the government, this is not a money sink. It's actually generating some cash. So in that case, if that's true, and it has all of these safety benefits, there's no argument for cost. There's like the argument for cost is totally nonsensical. And I just wanted to hear, like, it just seems so disingenuous when people brought up cost in this case. Like, if you're, there's a cost to increase police patrols or all of these things. That is a clear cost. But this, if it costs some and it's generating revenue and it's generating more than the cost argument is totally ridiculous.
It sounds like, you've already done the math, right?
I mean, I think,
so
yeah.
It is, again, like where we were literally 3 years ago and where we are right now. I'm very optimistic that I hope it's not the cost that is stopping us, but there are other potential constraints that probably it's above, like that I'm not privy to, that makes us to kind of like, let's increase and expand the program incrementally.
Yeah.
And in a very methodical kind of like
way.
manner.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rather than just like oversaturate the city and literally give everybody a lot of ticket, and then you're truly generating like a lot of volume but not addressing the safety. So, and that's why now that there are real engineers, designers, planners, performance analysts behind this program, it is no longer, and I've served in the security agencies almost my whole professional careers. They're very near and dear to me, but I personally think that the program has benefited tremendously being under Department of Transportation, because especially our site selection process, we are no longer just going there because we think. And I was like, look, I'm not an engineer. I didn't design this service road. I didn't design this intersection. Why am I making a decision where to go, where to put these cameras? And now that, we are actually no longer even in charge, responsible, or have the authority to move camera A to location B anymore. It is our traffic safety engineering and investigative team that are reviewing these data. They're looking through the percentile. They're like talking to the private sectors, to our vendors that are like serving, providing services in that area. And they're determining each location. And so far, for example, Southern Avenue, the South Dakota, North Capitol, Bladensburg, H Street, there's been amazing development going on there. And our data has actually finally been used by everybody because we have this passing data. They are measuring everything. What is causing this speed? Why people kind of like, on Bladensburg speed, right? The roads, did we design a road that is more prone to speed? Or on New York Avenue, or on Southern Avenue, or on Alabama Avenue? And and also going to those communities that, hey, we are going to put a camera there. This is not to target you. This is no longer, labeled as a Metropolitan Police Department camera systems. This is, that's one of the reasons that we changed the name. The leadership decided to change the name from Automated Traffic Enforcement Divisions to Automated Safety Camera Program, so that it is no longer kind of like, I'm watching you. While you're not violating, I'm still watching your. No, we are actually there to collect good data, related to traffic safety. We are trying to issue citations to individuals who are not obeying our traffic laws. And in addition to that, finally this year, our Attorney General office, they're going to go after those repeated offenders that are outside of District of Columbia.
Yeah,
That
trainings.
they're under this false impression that, I'm going to violate, I'm going to accumulate $200,000, $300,000 ticket and come and benefit from District of Columbia's beauty and like sceneries and everything, if I'm working here or I'm coming here for leisures. But we need you to come here safely and leave safely. We don't want you to come here and violate our traffic law and then go back and tweet about it that, I got 5 tickets. I'm never going to come to DC. You got 5 tickets because you're driving at 80 miles per hour. Sometimes when I see those critiques, and I love it when our DC residents actually respond, if it is Reddit, if it is on the Twitter, that, hey, you came to our city, please slow down.
Yeah, you're a criminal, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a kind of a couple things. One, like cars are as deadly as guns. And the way that I look at it is if you operate a car in an unsafe manner, that is equivalent to you taking an AK-47 and just randomly shooting bullets. You will kill children. You will kill people with disabilities. You will kill seniors, and you'll destroy lives. And this is kind of my constant frustration with our government, is that we don't take it seriously enough. I think the average person, a lot of people speed, and whether you're going 45 miles an hour in a 35, like that is, if you look at the percentage, the likelihood that a pedestrian will die, it goes up very significantly with speed. And, slowing people down is super important. I'd love for that, to, be more forceful. I'd love for DDOT to be more forceful of this is criminal action and you will destroy lives. It's not just don't speed and here's a slap on the wrist, $100. You're going to take someone's child and kill them and essentially it's just like a gun. Like you're just, you're getting drunk and you're shooting off a gun. That's essentially what you're doing when you're speeding. The thing I want to also hone in on clear lanes. So we did some analysis called the time tax. Someone who drives, from point A to point B on average in the district, versus someone who doesn't drive. It takes 2.5 times longer for the person who doesn't drive to get from on the average place in DC to another place in DC. So what that means is that the district government is basically saying to anyone who is too old, too young, too poor, or too disabled to drive, that your time is worth less than half of someone who drives. And therefore all time and all life is just sequences of time. So basically what the district government is saying is that my life, because I don't drive, and everybody who can't drive or can't afford to drive, their life is worth less than half, and their time is worth less than half, and therefore their life is worth less than half. And one of the things that slows, one of the reasons for this 2.5 times disparity are slow buses. And clear lanes is a big deal in actually speeding up slow buses. We know we've got slow buses, and they crawl around with traffic. We've developed, after a lot of advocacy, now we've got bus lanes, and it just takes one car to back up that entire street because of that bus, because of that one selfish person who decides that their time is worth more than the 50 people on the bus, is blocking that bus's path. So my question is, how many buses right now that operate on bus lanes still don't have a camera on them?
That would be a great question for WMATA, because one thing that I know for sure that under the 140 plus 70 that was installed this year, total of 220 are equipped.
Yeah.
How many that are not equipped? That is something for WMATA probably to better. they know their inventory and their fleet better than
Yeah.
I do. But we have 220 buses equipped, which is still like not enough because we have a 5 years plan, right? That every year we will be increasing the number of cameras by 70.
Okay, great. So right now, or maybe another, maybe a DDOT focus question is, what percentage of our bus lane network is not yet monitored by camera?
That is actually that is in our website. What percentage are covered?
Is ideally that can soon get to 100%.
Yeah, we are actually covering like buzzers or areas along. We are currently, where is that? Because I can see the map. I can share my screen with you right here quickly.
Yeah. Is there, I mean, I'm sure we'll get to 100% eventually, just because our bus lane
Yeah,
network
eventually we will,
is
but
small.
it is not 100%. To
Yeah.
just like, you know, a quick response, it's not 100%, and we are covering like over 1,400. It's based on also bus priority lane, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like they have kind of like designated a bus lane. It's a kind of like a work in progress.
Yeah.
And there are, for example, recently we came across the MLK. We had to suspend our enforcement for a second because there's a PEPCO work on there. There's a lot of construction that has kind of like removed the pavements, and the signage are kind of like, you know, being the redone and all that stuff. It's constantly, I mean, like DC, I mean, like it's like everything is like on a constant move, right? And we are constantly adding and taking locations out of service because of the constructions, because of like long-term construction, short-term constructions. So, but I can give you that as we talk. I'm looking for it, but I know that we are enforcing all bus stops.
Stops. Yeah.
That's 100% base, almost, except the ones that are missing sign or through the Better Bus initiative. I mean, like
Yeah.
we have a lot of like work to get done because we want to get it perfect. We don't want to issue bad citations, and we want to make sure that, you know, and it's a multi-agency effort. And as a result of that, we want to make sure that we get it right. But for the bus lane, all the bus lane that are designated as the bus lane that are designated through the bus priority the divisions, those are enforced.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. So, perfect. I'll turn to Ashton.
Thanks. Actually, I had a couple of things. Let me pull up. I took some notes. So first of all, I'm sorry to hear about your family, and I'm really glad that they're okay. And thank you for your presentation and the work that you're doing. It's really important and effective work, and your presentation was really informative. I agree with so much of what you said. In fact, the reason I'm so adamant about using the word crash, not accident, is because, like you're saying, breaking the law is not an accident. And because we know where people are likely to drive recklessly and pose more danger, it's not some chance event. It's a pattern that can be addressed. So these cameras, for that reason, are super effective. And I really hope DC installs more, particularly around places where our most vulnerable residents and folks with disabilities are, living, working, studying, playing, that sort of thing. I have about a dozen questions, but I will limit myself to two in the interest of time. And one of them actually piggybacks off of that point that was just made, getting it right. I remember initially there was a lot of pushback. I have this weird habit of thinking it's fun to listen in on DC Council hearings and DDOT performance oversight testimonies. Not fun, but weird pastime. And I remember a lot of folks being very agitated at the sensitivity of the cameras and or questioning how accurate they were, because folks said, I swear I came to a complete stop, or I was only going 2 miles over, the speed limit. And I'm wondering, if, those were how truthful those statements were, and also if you can just talk a little bit about the calibration. And then my second question is, you talked about this during the presentation a little bit, but clearly they're effective. And I worry that when they're taken out without a plan to put engineering practices in place and other street design interventions to continue that, like you said, traffic calming or road diet. So how are decisions made about what happens after a camera? And is it always that there is some sort of project, built environment project that follows it? And if not, how do you all track reckless driving behavior after a camera is removed to make sure that the effect that you're seeing from the cameras holds long beyond when a camera is removed?
Excellent question. So to answer your first question, my least favorite email is when I get an email from our leadership that check this citation, because it's coming from the council. One of the constituents reached out that, why did I get this ticket? And I immediately look into it, making sure it's like, oh my God, I hope we did not issue a bad citation. It's either a stop sign, it's a red light, or it's a clear lane, and they are clearly in violation. And I usually attach the video, and once we post it, they're like, oh, we just wanted to make sure that, it was good. We don't get that kind of like, I hope, the council does reach out back to the constituents, like, look, you were actually reckless. You run the stop sign, and your video is clearly showing you. You can just literally, and you have all that information. It's accessible to you. You have a PIN number for your citation. You can go, you can access it, you can review your video, and make a decision that, did you actually come to a complete stop or not? And coming to a complete stop, if you see your brake lights showing in the video, that doesn't mean that you actually attempted to come to a complete stop. You slowed down, you passed the camera system at over 11 mile per hour, which makes like, you have 85 feet before you're approaching the stop sign, and you still failed to come to a complete stop. I recently saw this one very close, near miss, we call it. A bus is stopping and the unloading passengers, and there's a pedestrian coming to cross, and it's a stop sign, and a car comes in, and this pedestrian is literally running for her life, and that vehicle did not stop. And we have a business rule that if we are capturing the face of an individual that is not related to the violations, we should reject that violation, that event, we call it, because we do not want to have your face part of the evidence package and notes of infraction and mail it to somebody. But we sat down together and we decided, we were like, no, this individual needs to get a ticket, because he needs to know how reckless he is. And I hope, he plays his video and watches it, that, how close he was to run over that female pedestrian. And so far we have I'm not saying we are perfect. We have issued every single ticket. It's 100%, but 99% of our ticket that goes out, they are well reviewed by the vendor, one layer, and then it goes through our initial reviews. It's blind keyed, and then through final review, which is again blind keyed, and the make and model and information is all verified and then approved for mailing. So we have not seen any groundbreaking claim that your technology did not fail to kind of perform. About the camera sensitivity, I always look at it about the smartphone. When the first smartphone came out and the latest smartphone, and a lot of people who lived in the neighborhood that we had our legacy cameras, and they were expired. They were extremely depreciated equipment that we unfortunately did not have the money and the contract to upgrade. And since 2023, under DDOT, we renewed every single camera. All the camera systems that are currently operating in the District of Columbia are pretty much 2 years old, 3 years old from the manufacturing date. They're all allo and dual radar system, which is extremely sensitive like, they're measuring the speed very carefully. They're like we call it the secondary speed verifications, that they have the capability, the auto rejection capability the system has, and the sensitivity that the vehicle is captured, and how great the pictures look like, because we have to rely on the still image and the video of the violations. And a lot of those residents, especially, that they used to live, for example, like Kansas and Buchanan, 1500 block of Bruce, which is in front of the school, in front of both cameras. All of a sudden, the residents got a little upset that these cameras are too sensitive. I have lived here for 10 years. I never got a ticket. And now all of a sudden I'm getting tickets. Again, operability of our cameras. Every single cameras are 24/7 operational now. And majority of our camera systems are actually mounted. We call it fixed, which means that they receive constant power and they are not missing anything. We are capturing almost every single violation. And it gives you as a resident, if you have a camera in front of your house or in your neighborhood, you can go through our website and look at every day's performance. And you will hold us accountable that, hey, I have a camera, I requested a camera, it took me 2 years to get my camera. Why your camera is down 15 days out of 30 days or 31 days? That's not going to happen anymore, because the minute that I see that the camera system is not producing for over 24 hours, and then the vendor has 48 hours to address the issue, then I immediately kind of like address that issue. In the past, we have had cameras that were standing in there. Unfortunately, it was just for deterrence. For example, we didn't have the guts in there, or it wasn't functioning properly. And now that we have finally acquired the latest and the greatest, we take pride on that. And it is, people are like, oh, it's too sensitive. But no, it's not too sensitive. Just go ahead, log in, put your PIN number, look at the video, and then tell us whether we issued you a good citation or not. And your second question was, sorry?
So
oh yes, your
cameras
second question was
remove design and engineering.
Yes. The good thing is that the same team, the multi-model safety and engineering team, that decides where our camera must go through, I mean, like, basically they have a list of eye injury network. They are the one who decide when to remove that camera or rotate that camera after 12 to 18 months of reviewing the data, or maybe after they have completed other set of the analysis and plan to add additional road diet, or maybe redesign the intersection. One example would be, for example, Wheeler Road. We put a camera in the Wheeler Road, and the Wheeler Road went through because our I think I have that chart. I can show it to you all. It's a very famous chart that speaks a volume about our camera systems. At the first months, we were issuing over 2,000 tickets at that locations. And we had camera on both directions. And once, I mean, like, they were like, this is not safe. If we are like, this is a small intersection, I mean, like, we need to kind of like do another intervention. And they put additional road diets, and that reduced the number of citation issued to 300 to 200 per month. And to Karthik's and your point, that these cameras are actually, yes, it's enforcing the violation events, but also it's exposing the vulnerability of that location. We may not be able to solve the problem through our cameras, but we are opening the engineers and the designers and the planners' eyes and ears that, hey, you have a problem in these locations. For example, like, one of our locations that are right now under serious review is Kenilworth, for example, New York Avenue and Kenilworth, because we are issuing a lot of citation in there. And finally, we are like, let's understand why people are speeding, why people are going 80 miles, 60 miles per hour at a service road of 25 miles per hour. And it's like a lot of vulnerable road users are using those roads. There are overpasses. People are coming in from across the other line, which is almost 50 miles per hour. And of course, people are driving at 60, 70 miles per hour. Crossing those roads are like extremely dangerous. And then having vehicles merge to a service road of 25 miles per hour, there is a design issue. So let's kind of talk about that. So the same team that plans and designs is also planning and in moving and rotating our camera system now, because they are the custodian of the eye injury network list. So I don't no longer decide where a camera should go. So once they make a decision, they either have a plan B in place, or they know that, okay, camera is not a solution. Let's kind of like implement our quick intervention, or let's make this part of our bigger intervention plans, or bigger kind of like road diet or design projects in the future. So it's the good thing is it's all the engineers. They're like, sometimes they're like, oh my God, you are giving us the best data. Where was this data? Or like, it was always there, but we were just part of another agency, and unfortunately, it was not always used in a manner that is used now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Excellent. So we actually do need to move on. Really super appreciate your time, Saeed. I mean, I think I'll just speak for myself. I'm a big proponent of this, and I think this is like one of the very few easy, obvious solutions that we should be expanding. And yeah, please let us know if there's ever a time that we can be supportive of your work. And yeah, and also just yeah, this is why we wanted to have this conversation, because this can meaningfully reduce death and injury on our streets, especially among people with who don't drive, are too young, too old, too disabled, or too poor to own a car. That's especially cruel for people who don't drive to be basically murdered by people who are recklessly driving their cars. So yeah, thank you so much for taking the time. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And
Thank you, Karthik. Thanks for giving me the opportunity, and we will definitely call on you guys. And just one public announcement: the school is about to start. We are fully ready. I mean, like our automated safety camera system is on the top of the safe return initiatives. And please be careful when you drive, and tell all your friends who drive by our school buses, because those fines are hefty. And again, of course, we cannot put a price on the safety of our children's and our vulnerable citizens. But it's extremely important for everybody to know that if it takes, and especially in DC, it's very important to know that our school buses are serving our special needs children. They are extra special to us. And if the bus stops for more than 5-10 minutes to pick up and drop off that children, please be patient. Please be patient. Don't threaten the driver. They are doing their job. And if you are going to pass the school bus at an aggressive speed, your license plate will be passed down to the law enforcement agencies, and they will be pursuing you, because our children's safeties are paramount, and it's on the top agenda of our leaderships. And also the better bus, again, additional buses are on the road. So please let everybody know that, the drive in your lane, stay in your lane. Do not, if you are like a pickup, drop off, do not get your Uber in front of the bus stop, because they are not allowed to pick you up and drop you off in the bus stop. And that's where the driver modification, behavior modification starts. If your Uber driver tries to drop you at the bus stops, like, please don't do that. Just because it's good for him or her too, because you do not want to receive that $100 ticket. That's your entire day's income. And so that, we can efficiently move people through our bus lane and bus stops. And also, it's very important for the bus stops to actually reach the bus stop completely, and especially for
Yes.
disabled
Yes.
individuals and children to properly and safely get off the bus and get on the bus. So unfortunately, a lot of the time we see the buses picking up and dropping off the passengers in the second lane, which is almost unacceptable, because any scooter or biker can come in and sweep you. Again, thank you. I will definitely reach out to my colleague, Zach. Thank you, Zach, for paving the ground and facilitating these conversations. And we are at your service. Again, we are here to help. And if there's any recommendations, suggestions, criticism, We are open. We have become better through our transparency. We have become better because we opened our doors and willing to change, willing to meet today's challenges. So let's pray and practice safe options for our kids and our residents and those who visit our beautiful city.
Great. Thank you so much, Saeed. Perfect. So now let us turn over to our regularly scheduled agenda. I know that we're running up against time, but we did have a few different things that we've got a couple readouts from folks. So we had Sal, who represented us at Destination DC. Maybe Sal, can you give us an overview of that?
Yes, sure. Good evening, Gino. Good evening, everyone. The event was very, very engaging. It was. We had presentations in the morning, and then later we went downstairs, separated us in different forums. And during that time, we talked about what are the challenges people with disabilities are facing, and how we can better uh, honor the ADA. And one of the things that we discussed was we talked about how hotel were one of the key place that was outlined in terms of residents with people with disabilities that come into the to or book hotels. We discussed that more visibility must be made. For example, they should have before someone is or when somebody is applying or trying to look for a room, they should ensure that these rooms are better accessible, because there are sometimes some of these hotels you will rent in the hotel and come there. Probably you have to walk like so long to even go to the next room where they actually find a place for you. And sometimes it's not even accessible. So we talks about more visibility need to be done. For example, more update need to be put on place on website so that people can able to get firsthand before they even submit their request for a room. And we another suggestion what another group made. They said, well, that is a great idea. They talks about more awareness needs to be conducted by hotels. At least they should have an ADA person there. So when for someone with disability come into to the hotel, this ADA person will be there to ensure that and give them ask all the necessary questions, or before the person even apply, or before the person even request a room, they should be able to talk to an ADA person that will give them a very good details about the accessibility in the building, inside the rooms as well. And one of my contributions was, well, it's very hard to talk about. Many people with disability don't want to disclose their disabilities on the phone or virtual. So it is important that when you're building your website, let this website be accessible. Let this website have details that somebody can read, and they make a self-determination of whether they should go ahead to submit a request for this room or not. But talking to people on the phone, they never met that person. Many people are not comfortable doing so.
Yep.
And the audience where everybody accepted the idea, they agree with me. They said it seems like one of the representative from the I think they are from the Gulag School of the Deaf. I think they have a hotel, and she talks about how the hotel is very accessible. She told us about all the things that's available in the hotel, including even their website. That there are more details on the website to see for individual to read and actually able to do like a virtual tour so that they can make a better determination before even requesting for a room.
That's great.
So
Were
we
there
discussed about
was
more.
there anything, Sal,
Yeah,
was there anything about transportation, specifically
yes,
around, yeah.
yes, we did. They did talk about transportation. They talked about transportation, how best we the challenges that people they say what DC is doing their best in terms of accessibility and transportation. We talked about more that DC, since is the capital city, should have more. It should be one of the most accessible cities in terms of transportation or accessibility. And but then the conference focuses on sustainability. They say, well, even though we're creating all these accessibilities, but it has to be sustainable. So there must be more a better way how sustainability and accessibility will merge and have a more focused attention so that people with disabilities will be assured that whether it's in transportation, whether it's on buildings or houses or hotels, they have a sustainable ways or guarantee that this is actually functioning and it's not just temporary.
Got it. Okay, great. Thanks so much, Sal.
You're welcome.
Sharon, you
Yeah,
represented us at the North Capitol Street redesign. Can you give us a readout on
yeah,
that?
happy to. So this was a public, really, this was a public phone or video conference. And, for those who are not familiar with the project, the DDOT is in a 1 year study phase of the North Capitol, um, you know, potential to really redesign that arterial road to make it more multimodal. They have four sort of main goals. It's really to advance multimodal transportation, improve neighborhood connectivity, improve pedestrian infrastructure, and ensuring that the roadway is safe for all users. Those are their four main goals. And so even before the study had commenced, there were two competing groups in the neighborhood because the scope of the redesign is really from Massachusetts Avenue to Michigan Avenue on North Capitol Street. So even before folks, had really advocated for the study to begin and the budget dollars to be advocated for that, there were two competing ideas on how you could potentially reuse North Capitol Street. The study that it's the phase 2 of the study. It's not the design phase or the final design phase. The phase 2 of the study was really to talk about the findings of what was viable, and what they've discovered is the one pathway which would have been more, filling in the underpass and making it like a pedestrian friendly overpass was just going to be way more expensive. And I think 25 million was the figure floated around. So there's the second option, which was really what the neighbors were advocating for, and their two design options were on the website, was really more the feasible one, where you're not you don't have to touch the underpass, but you can change the infrastructure. So um, there's still some back and forth over what that design will actually look like. However, the conversation was short of getting contentious with probably 500 people listening in. And so where we are right now is, the plan is to complete the design phase by end of winter, and then finalize the design by spring of 2026, and then move forward with, construction after that, if it's approved. And so, um, they did hold a number of walkthroughs just to identify spots for improvements. Because multimodal is a big focus. They're in partnership with WMATA, but one of the big challenges with any of these capital improvement projects has been DDOT cannot force WMATA to put in bus routes. That is a completely different process and uh, takes on a life of its own. So that's my takeaway was really, I don't know if there's a way to improve the connection between these two agencies in capital roadway projects. But they did clarify an emphasis on improving pedestrian infrastructure. They also really did talk about ADA compliance will get priority as they look at ensuring like all walkways are ADA compliant, for example, and wheelchair accessible. Those are sort of some of the examples. But that was sort of my main takeaway and my 2-minute short summary. I can send around the study PowerPoint as well as the public facing sites that is updated as updates come along as well.
That's great. Thank you so much for that.
Sure.
And I know we're over time, but I do want to share. I'm not sure if you've seen this, Sharon, but this is something that we passed earlier this year, principles for arterial street space usage. But basically for any street redesign, basically our priorities for those streets, for street space usage. First and foremost, ADA compliant sidewalks on both sides of the street. So it seems like they're checking the box on that and ensuring that exists. And then 24/7 dedicated protected bus lanes for public transit and emergency vehicles. Then ADA pickup and drop-off zones. Then protected bike, scooter, and power wheelchair lanes. Then bike, scooter parking to get scooters off the sidewalk. And then only do we start talking about motor vehicle travel lanes. Then after that, ADA only parking, then ADA accessible parklets and streeteries, then tree boxes, and then only after that, just general regular parking. So I hope next time, if you can, I'd put the link in here. It's maacdc.link/principles that you can share this with that team and just say, hey, this is like, it's very important. So we fully support the ADA sidewalks, but it's very important that you also have bus lanes on the street because that is by far the most accessible vehicle for people with disabilities to travel in.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that link. If you can just ping me with it or put it in the chat, I'd appreciate it.
Yep, I just did. maacdc.link/principles. And yes, so thank you so much. I know we're over time. We do have other things on the agenda. We'll just shift that to to our next meeting. We will have at our next meeting, we will have so Jonathan Rogers, the head of DHFHV, is confirmed to return on the October meeting. The September meeting, we will have the folks who are running the downtown study and from Office of Planning. And then we have finally heard back from DPW, and we're hoping to confirm their director, their interim director, to come in the November meeting. So we'll be able to address the snow concerns and also the other violations that that matter to us. So we will adjourn for now, and we'll pick up next the second meeting or second Wednesday of September at 5:30 p.m. using the same link, maacdc.link/meeting. And otherwise, thanks everyone for attending, and we will see you next week, or we will see you next month.
Thank you.
Take care, everyone.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah.
Thank
Bye,
you so
everyone.
much.
Thank you.
And